everyone, welcome to my channel. In today's video, I'm super excited to share with all of you all of the products that I hauled during the Black Friday sales. So this year, the brands had really impressive sales on their website. So even though after the Sephora VIB sale and the Pat McGrath sale, I thought I was done with my makeup shopping for the year, I ended up still picking up some more products. So today I wanted to run through the products that I hauled and also put together a look, the one that I have on my face today, using all new products. So to start off, LYS, which is a brand I have been interested in quite a while, had a huge 40% off site-wide sale. And so I picked up a majority of their product line. So you can see here that the package comes in this cool triangular shaped box, which matches the triangular theme in all of their branding. Inside, it has this chic mauve color and this image of some of the products. The boxes that the products come in also have these cool little triangular cutouts. So even at full price, LYS is a super affordable brand. Most of their items are less than $20. And so with the 40% off discount, I was able to pick up one of most of their products for less than $60 total. So I got 5 products for less than $60. So this was an amazing deal. To start off, I got their foundation in the shade LG6, and I have heard just such amazing things about this foundation. So many people have raved about it, said it was one of their favorite foundations of this year, which is really impressive given the price point. Also, LYS is a clean beauty brand, and this foundation is supposed to be like a hybrid between foundation and serum, and so it has a lot of ingredients in it that are supposed to be good for your skin. I also picked up their Higher Standard Satin Matte Cream Blush. I got this in the shade Confident. This looks like a beautiful, everyday, pinky brownie shade, and I've also heard amazing things about their cream blush formula. Next up, I got their Triple Fix Translucent Setting Powder. This is in the shade Resilience, which is their translucent shade. This powder has also been ending up on a lot of people's best of 2021 list, so I'm really excited to see how this compares with some of my higher end powders. Next, we have the No Limits Matte Bronzer in the shade Harmony, and this is their shade for medium skin tones. And then finally, we have their Aim High Pressed Highlighter Powder. I got this in the shade Genuine, which is the rose gold shade. As a side note, I love the branding of these products. All of the names are just so uplifting, so positive. And in fact, the name LYS stands for Love Yourself. So in general, I have been eyeing this brand for the longest time, and I'm so excited now to have most of their products. And so I do plan on doing a dedicated video to their products at some point where I run through all of these and give you guys my overall review. In today's video though, I will try several of these on just to give you guys my initial impressions. Next, another brand that was having amazing Black Friday sales was Kosas. And this is also a clean beauty brand. And for me, I have a bit of a love-hate relationship with Kosas. Pretty much all of their products I've tried, I have absolutely loved. But because they don't use many preservatives in their products, I do find that their products do go bad relatively quickly. So previously, I've tried their bronzer, which I loved, but it went bad within a few months. If you watched my blush rankings video, you know that I love their cream blush in the color story Tropic Equinox. That is one of my favorite blushes of all time, but that also recently went bad on me. And so when I saw that Kosas was having a huge sale on their website, I think it was 30% off everything, plus with every order you got a free blush highlighter duo. And so at first I decided, okay, I'm just gonna pick up the brow gel because I've tried this in mini form. I'm almost done with my mini. And so I figured picking up the full size would be a good idea. And I think this packaging is so fun. It's a clear plastic, but the plastic is a little bit pinky magenta. After I placed that order though, I decided to also go in with their eyebrow pencil because this is also a product that I've heard really great things about. And I got the gel in medium brown and the pencil in brown black. Along with the brow products, I also got these 2 blush highlighter duos. So I'm really excited to try out all of these new Kosas products, and definitely let me know in the comments down below if you guys would be interested in a video dedicated to Kosas at some point. Next up, one of the most exciting products in this haul was this Ninhydrin palette from Adept Cosmetics. So if you guys aren't familiar with Adept Cosmetics, they are an indie eyeshadow brand, and they are really known for their glorious shimmery eyeshadows. Their branding is also very nerdy and science-based, which for me as a nerd both about makeup and everything else really appeals to me. This palette name, Ninhydrin, actually refers to a certain reagent that turns amino acids purple, and so it's used for fingerprint detection. Basically, on your fingers, the sweat contains some amino acids in it, and so if you put Ninhydrin on a surface, then the areas where there are fingerprints will turn purple. So I thought that was really cool because I had not heard of Ninhydrin before, and this is a purple palette, so I thought it was a really fun way to tie together the science and the makeup. The one thing with Adept Cosmetics though is they do have a really long back order. So when I first placed my order for this palette, it said that it would come sometime in the next like 3 to 4 months. And so I really wasn't expecting this palette to come anytime soon. Fortunately, actually, within a couple weeks of me placing my order, I actually got a message from them saying my order had shipped. So no guarantees if you try this out, but I was pleasantly surprised at how quickly my palette ended up arriving. So I do have a lot of new eyeshadow in this haul, so unfortunately I won't be able to dig in a lot into this palette today, but I do plan on doing a dedicated video to this at some point. Let me know down in the comments if you guys have tried Adept Cosmetics before. This will be my first experience with this brand. And also let me know if you'd be excited for the review. Next up in the eyeshadow category, we have 10 Clionadh eyeshadows. So Clionadh is also an indie eyeshadow brand, and they are really famous for their shimmery, glittery, multi-chromatic eyeshadows. I picked up these 10 over here in their recent Black Friday sale. Clionadh is pretty pricey. It's definitely a bit pricier than the Terra Moon's shadows that I have down here. So I was really excited when they had a sale, and I bought 10 shadows because if you buy at least 10 shadows from them using the promo code CROSSFORMULA, then you'll get $1 off each shadow. That's only like 5 to 10% off, but it still is nice to get an additional discount. Also, Clionadh does have a pretty high shipping fee, so I would recommend when you're placing an order on their site to order a bunch of eyeshadows at once instead of splitting it up over time. I have just heard such amazing things about Clionadh over the years, and also I follow them on Instagram, and they have the most beautiful pictures and videos of eyeshadows, and so I am incredibly excited about all of these shades. And I have a few of them on my lids right now. If you are a major Clionadh fan, maybe you can identify what these shadows are before we get to the demo part. But as you can see, they're just such beautiful shadows. So another brand that I love that was having a great site-wide sale is Cosmetics. So first off, I picked up a couple products from their So Soft collection. First off, I got their contour stick in the shade Terra, and I think this was one of the Allure Best of Beauty Award winners this year. So even though I'm usually not a huge cream contour person, I figured I'd give this a shot. I also picked up their cream blush in the shade Pearl Tea. I'm hoping that this will be a great just everyday nude blush shade for me. I already own the 3 Heaven's Veil powder blushes that Cosmetics came out with, and I really love that formulation, and so I'm hoping that the cream blush also lives up to the hype. The last Cosmetics product that I picked up was their clear brow gel. I really love their tinted brow gel. I would say that it's my current favorite brow gel, and so I'm really curious to see how this clear brow gel works and if I'll like it as much as the tinted one. The last product that I picked up in my Black Friday hauls was the Pat McGrath IntensifEYES Artistry Wand. So you guys know I am a huge Pat McGrath fan, so when this little wand came out, I had a lot of FOMO about not picking it up. It's basically mixing liquid that is turned into a balm format and then put into a pen. but I had just bought a large bottle of mixing liquid a week or so before this product was announced, and so I didn't pick it up then. But now that I do find myself using mixing medium quite frequently, I wanted to pick this up and try it out and see how it compares to normal mixing liquid. So I'll be showing you guys a demo with this product today, but I have filmed a separate video doing a really comprehensive review comparing this with normal mixing liquid. So if you're interested in that, definitely subscribe down below to be notified when that video comes out. So those are all the products that I hauled, and I won't be able to put all of these products on my face today, but I did actually manage to put most of them on my face. For the ones I didn't get to feature in today's video, I will eventually get around to filming with those, but let me know in the comments down below if there's any products or any brands that you are especially interested in from this haul, and I'll try to prioritize getting those videos out sooner. So without further ado, let's play around with these products. So to start off today's look, I'm excited to try out this LYS Triple Serum Foundation. I am really amazed at how beautiful the packaging for LYS products is considering the low price. This foundation on sale was less than $20, and it comes in this beautiful frosted glass packaging and this really nice rosewood top. This plastic component here, of course, doesn't look the most luxurious, but I mean, overall, this is really, really nice packaging for a drugstore price. So I'm really not sure if this is the right shade match for me. I just kind of picked this online. So let's see how this works. I have this in LG6. So quite a lot came out in that one pump. So I'm just gonna dot this all over my face. I tried to err on the slightly lighter side for this foundation because recently a lot of the foundations that I've picked up have been a little bit on the deep side for me. So hopefully this is a good shade match. So going in with my beauty blender, I'm just gonna blend this in. This is blending in super seamlessly into the skin. It is a little bit light for my forehead, but I can always add some more bronzer there. And this is a fragrance-free formulation. Alrighty, so here we have one layer on my face, and I would say that it is looking a tiny bit light for me, but hopefully once it oxidizes, it'll be a better shade match for me. It is feeling really comfortable on the skin, at least upon initial application. It feels really hydrating. It blended in super easily. My skin is on the drier side, so personally I do prefer more hydrating foundations. Based on some other reviews I watched, this foundation might not work for you if you have very oily skin, but I'm hopeful it'll work quite well for my skin type. And I would say that one pump provided around a light medium coverage. For my dedicated video on LYS, I'll do some more wear tests and experiments with this foundation, so I'll see how it performs when it's built up. For today though, I'm liking this level of coverage, so I'm gonna go now with my concealer from McGrath just to provide some additional coverage in my problem areas. So here we are with the concealer, and I also just went in with some lipstick. I have here Sweet Blossom from Charlotte Tilbury, since I figured this would go well with the pop of red on my dress. So now let's go into brow products. So first off, I'm gonna go in with this dual action defining pencil from Kosas. As you can hopefully see here, the pencil itself has a triangular shape, and on the other side you have a spoolie brush. So here's a line that I just drew with the pencil, and you can see that if you use the tip of it, you can get some pretty thin lines. So now let me just zoom you guys in so you can see more clearly what I'm doing. And I'm gonna first just use this to try to define the perimeter of my brows. Okay, this is actually a softer brow pencil than I thought. I thought it would be a lot more dry and waxy, but it's actually applying with very little effort. Alrighty, nice. That's looking pretty good. That was really easy to do, and I feel like this texture is a pretty good mix between waxy and creamy. Alrighty, so here we have both brows done with the pencil, and I would say that this is definitely a creamier brow pencil than I normally go for. I typically like a bit more of a stiff, drier formula like the Huda Beauty Bomb Brows, but the creaminess of this pencil did make it glide on super easily, and so I did like the application today. This is not necessarily going to give you super fine hair-like strokes, but overall I think this is a pretty nice natural brow look. So now let's see, should I go in with the corresponding Kosas brow gel or with the M Cosmetics? So if you have watched some of my previous videos, you might have already seen this in my brows before. So I guess today I'll try out the M Cosmetics instead. So this is what the packaging for the M Cosmetics Clear Brow Gel looks like. It's a pretty short, squat bottle. So let's see if this keeps my brow hairs up. For context, I would say my brow hairs are not super unruly, so typically I prefer to have some tint in my brow gels. But let me see if this can make them look a little bit more bushy and voluminous. So I'm just kind of brushing them upward and outward. Alrighty, so here we have it with the brow gel and then this side without any brow gel. Maybe it's just the shape of my brows, but I feel like there's honestly not a ton of difference that I'm seeing. As I mentioned, I don't consider my brow hairs to be super unruly as is, so I might not be the best person to test out this kind of product, but I was hoping to get a little bit more of that laminated brow look. Let me see if it looks any different on this side. Alrighty, so here we have it on both brows, and honestly I don't see a ton of difference from this product. If anything, I think the main difference is the spoolie might have picked up a little bit of my brow pencil and thus made the brows look a little bit less dark than before. I am feeling a little bit of the product itself though, kind of like it's drying down, so there's a tiny bit of that tight feeling in my eyebrows. I'll have to keep trying out this product, but at least upon my initial impression, I'm not really impressed with the results. So moving right along, normally I would just do either cream or powder, bronzer, and blush, but because we have so many bronzers and blushes in today's haul, I figured I would first start with these two cream formulas from M Cosmetics. And I'm super excited to try these out because when they came out, I was really intrigued by this So Soft formula. It sounded really fun and really plush, and I feel like I haven't seen a ton of reviews on these products, so I'm really excited to try them out and see how they go. The packaging is just a really simple plastic component with the M Cosmetics logo on the top. You just take off the cap and then you can screw up the product like this. And the only difference in packaging with the blush is the outside component is a soft pink shade. So if you guys watched my recent Westman Atelier video, you know that I wasn't a huge fan of the contour shade in Truffle. So I'm hoping the shade Terra from M Cosmetics works better for me. Here we have swatches of the two shades. So this is Terra and this is Pearl Tea. Terra is basically a really cool, almost gray undertone contour shade. And Milk Tea is sort of a nude, browny, peachy blush shade. So I'm going to go in with my Zoeva 110 brush and just dot it on the tip of this just to pick up some of that product. And then I'm going to, oh wow, that's actually really pigmented, okay. The Westman Atelier one also looked very pigmented, but it actually was not very much so when I applied it to the skin. I think this one definitely keeps its pigmentation quite a bit more, so you really don't need a lot of product. But it is blending out really easily with this brush. Let me know if you guys would be interested in a video dedicated to this product once I've had more of a chance to play around with it. Today I'm not going to build it up too much just because I do want to go in with some powders later. So let's just see how a soft wash of this looks. Alrighty, I think this is actually a decent contour shade for me. What I did not like about the Westman Atelier was that blended out, it had almost sort of a purpley, plummy undertone to it. This one definitely has a gray undertone to it. So I would say try not to overdo it because it's not like a bronzer that's going to give you that sort of sun-kissed glow. This is definitely going to give you more of a cool shadow effect. And this is definitely way more pigmented than the Westman Atelier product. So here's the contour all over the perimeter of my face, plus the hollows of my cheeks. And I think overall it looks pretty good. It blended into the LYS Foundation pretty seamlessly. I'm definitely gonna have to keep playing around with this though to give you guys more of a full review. So for the cream blush, I'm actually just gonna go in with a finger, and wow, this is really soft. It's such a creamy formula. Be interesting to see if my hair sticks into this because that's always the problem I have with cream blush formulations. So I'm gonna try just dabbing this on my cheeks and see how that goes. because usually for cream blushes, I like wearing them on just an everyday basis, just with my fingers. Alrighty, I would say the pigmentation on this blush is definitely a lot lighter than this contour. I'm not seeing a ton of pigment, at least from this Pearl Tea shade, upon initial application. I think it's a pretty light, sort of everyday shade. Touching my cheeks right now, there is a tiny bit of slip and tack, though when I feel the product on my finger, it does feel like it's a bit more of a powder finish. So I'm hoping that this will give more of a satin instead of sticky finish. Let's see if my hair sticks to it. All right, doesn't seem to be sticking a lot. Like there's a little bit of stickage here, but at least not as bad as the Westman Atelier highlighter. I also did just want to provide a quick swatch comparison with the cream blush in Tropic Equinox from Kosas. That's over here, and this was one of my favorite blushes of the year, but unfortunately went rancid recently. And so I bought Pearl Tea in part to replace this one. And you can see that they are a similar shade overall, though Tropic Equinox has a bit more of a golden hue to it. It also has some gold shimmer in it, whereas Pearl Tea does not have any shimmer particles. So we'll see. Hopefully Pearl Tea can be a good replacement for Tropic Equinox and become my favorite everyday blush. At least upon initial impression though, it's definitely a little bit lighter than Tropic Equinox. So with the cream products out of the way, let's go into powder. So this is the Triple Fix Translucent Setting Powder in the shade Resilience. Again, I'm just so impressed with this LYS packaging. It has a beautiful rose gold mirrored surface, just like the Patrick Ta packaging. The packages are all magnetized, and inside they have nice mirrors. So it's crazy to me that this powder was less than $20. So the foundation doesn't actually feel like it needs a lot of setting. I think most days I actually would just leave it like this. But in the interest of trying out as many of these products as possible, I'm going to go in with a light fluffy brush. This is my Wayne Goss Artist Medium brush. And just lightly dab into this and use it to set my T-zone area. I'm not going to really put it where I have blush and bronzer because I'm going to go in with powders after this. Alrighty, I think that did a pretty good job. I wouldn't say I see a ton of difference, so this is definitely not a very mattifying powder. In terms of blurring, I'm not seeing a ton of effect, but I feel like it's really hard to tell with powders the first time you use them. So again, I will keep using this and update you guys in my LYS video. Next up, we have the bronzer, which I have in the shade Harmony. This is the medium bronzer shade. And with my Wayne Goss Artist Large, I'm gonna just sweep this over the areas where I contoured. Not too warm, but also not too cool. Definitely still brings a little bit of a summery bronze to my face. I think a little bit goes a long way with this bronzer. I probably could have also used the lighter shade. I do feel like this formulation has a decent amount of pigment because I'm using a super light fluffy brush, but still getting a lot of bronziness. Alrighty, so here we have the bronzer, and again, really nice first impression, blended like a dream. I do think that the pigment picks up pretty easily, so you do want to take a light hand with this product. So now for powder blush, we have these two Kosas options. The deeper one is Contrachroma, which is in the high intensity formula, and the lighter one is Papaya 1972. And here we have some swatches. So this is the blush in Contrachroma High Intensity, the highlighter, which is definitely too deep for me for highlight, but I can use this as an eyeshadow. And here's the blush and highlight from the Papaya 1972. This is the normal intensity version. So for today's look, since we already have a lot of color on my face, I'm just gonna go in with the Papaya version, and I'm gonna use both the blush and highlight and save the LYS highlighter for the dedicated LYS video. So with my cheek brush from Sonia G in her Lotus set, oh wow, okay, that's a very powdery formula, so maybe be a little bit less aggressive in digging your brush in. I think I really got a lot of that powder everywhere, so let me just dab some of this on both cheeks. I thought it would be a little bit more firmly pressed, so just be a little careful. And I think this will match pretty well with Pearl Teas. Hopefully the formulations layer well. Alrighty, I think this is going on pretty smoothly. The shade is actually much more pigmented on the cheeks than I think it looked in the swatches. It looked pretty light in swatch, but as you guys can see, it's showing up pretty well on my cheeks. Though to be fair, I'm also building this up a bit because I want to see the shade as well. Alrighty, so here is Papaya 1972 on the cheeks. So really pretty everyday peachy tone. For the highlight, I'm going in with my Artist Small Brush, and I'm going to be a little bit more light-handed here. And then just sweep this all over the high points of my cheeks. Okay, this is actually a really subtle highlight. I don't know if you guys will even be able to really see it on camera. Let me see if I can build this up for more shine. All right, so I don't know, hopefully you guys can see that. It's really not a very beaming highlight. I think it mostly just adds a bit of a slight golden shimmer to the blush. So nice option on days if you want more of a natural look. Alrighty, so with the face done, let's get into the eyeshadows, which are the part of today's video I'm personally most excited for. So first off, I am extremely excited about this Adept Cosmetics Ninhydrin palette. As you can see here, it's a really gorgeous palette. Lots of beautiful purpley blue tones along with some greens and a pop of gold. I'm not sure if you guys will be able to see this on camera, but the packaging itself actually has a bit of a holographic flip to it. So this cardboard does have a bit of a holographic film on it. Okay, yeah, I think you guys can see that over here. There's that rainbow flip, which is really pretty. I'm definitely gonna have to do a dedicated video to this so I can show you guys swatches and do some fun looks with this. But because today we also have some Clionadh eyeshadows, I'm just gonna use a matte from this palette, which I know is really sad because Adept Cosmetics is not really particularly known for their mattes. They're really known for their shimmer formulas. But stay tuned for a video dedicated to this palette. So normally I would go in with my trusty Wayne Goss number 16 for my initial matte transition, but because both of these shades look a little bit on the deep side, I'm actually going to go in with my Wayne Goss number 17, which is a little smaller, and I'm going to go into this matte purpley shade and just put this in the crease area. Yeah, this definitely is pretty pigmented, so that is one thing to note with this palette. It doesn't really have a light transition shade, which is fine. I mean, I think, like I said, it's really about the shimmers from what I understand about Adept Cosmetics. So definitely normally I think I would want to start out with a lighter color just to ensure an easier blend. But starting out with this shade is not terrible either. If you work at it, it definitely does blend out. And at the moment, I just have my Pat McGrath concealer on my lids. Alrighty, so I definitely am gonna have to go back in and further blend this out. I would say that the shade is decent as a matte transition shade. Definitely not my favorite matte formula by any means, but this sort of matte purple is a little bit tricky to formulate. So now for the shimmers, I'm very excited to open up these little Clionadh eyeshadows. I'll be putting these into my giant Adept Cosmetics palette. I guess I'll put them at the top here with my Terra Moon shadows. So in terms of packaging, the eyeshadows are in these individual envelopes that say Clionadh Cosmetics on one side with a little window into the product. And then on the other side, you see the Clionadh stained glass graphic. So here's the first shade, Opulent, which is a glitter multichrome. Next we have Grisol, which is also a glitter multichrome. Then we have Bloodline, a vibrant multichrome. Majesty, also a vibrant multichrome. Shard, a hybrid multichrome. Emboss, a glitter multichrome. Carving, also a glitter multichrome. Then we have Heirloom, and this doesn't actually specify on the back what the formulation is. Regal, which is a glitter type vibrant multichrome. And then finally we have UV, which is a Series 2 iridescent multichrome. And here's how they look in the case. I am so excited to play around with all of these shadows. They look so incredibly gorgeous. For today's look, I'm going to go in with the shade Regal because this is the only one that's in more of the glitter formulation, and I want to try this out with the Pat McGrath Artistry wand. So I think going with a chunkier formula will really show off how well that wand works. So here we have the Pat McGrath wand, and you can see that the balm is in a triangular shape. You just click the button at the end to advance the product, and I'm going to just sweep this pretty much all over my lid area, avoiding the outer third and crease area where I have the matte shadow. I have tried this before and do have a forthcoming video reviewing this and comparing it with the Mehron mixing liquid. One thing I did notice in my first impressions of this product is it does kind of erase any shadow that you have on already. So just be careful to not really sweep it too much around where you have mattes. Alrighty, so now let's go into Regal. This is what Regal looks like swatched. And I'm just using this on a finger and just dabbing this carefully onto where I put the wand. Ooh, this is a really pretty shade. I think the wand is really helping a lot for the product to just adhere. I'm not getting any fallout at all so far, which is great. Of course, I have not tried these Clionadh shadows dry before, but I did read their instructions that they recommend going in with a glitter glue for the glitter shadows and then a primer for the rest of them. And so if you don't want to get glitter glue, I think this Pat McGrath wand or normal mixing liquid is a good way to go. Because so far, so good on the fallout front. Wow, this is so pretty. Oh my gosh. Alrighty, so hopefully you guys can just see how gorgeous that shade is. It's even more shifty in person. You can see so many different shades on the lids. So now with the lower lash line, I'm going to first go in with my Builder from Sonia G, back into that matte shade, and just sweep this all over the lower lash line. Now taking the wand, I'm going to concentrate this on the inner 2/3 and just kind of sweep this down here as well. Again, it will erase a little bit of that matte, but that's okay. And then originally I was going to go back into Regal, but in the interest of trying out more shades, let me dip into Carving. Just taking that on the tip of this brush, I'm going to press this now into that lower lash line area on the inner 2/3. So whereas Regal has more of a indigo purple base and has all of these sorts of almost golden reflex, Carving has much more of a green shine to it, and the base is a little bit more of a grungy purple. Alrighty, so I did get a tiny bit of fallout in applying the inner lash line area, but overall I feel like it is sticking to where I applied the Pat McGrath wand. Finally, for inner corner and brow bone highlight, I want to try out the shade UV. So taking a little bit of that on my mini booster from Sonia G, I'm just going to tap that into that inner corner. Oh, wow. I don't know if you guys can see that, but that provides a really strong purple. Whoa, that's so cool. It really kind of gives that sort of UV glow effect. Wow, that's really cool. Huh. Can't wait to layer this on other shades all over the lid. It's definitely not like a sparkly shade. It's more like, even though the shade itself is kind of chunky, when you blend it onto the skin, it gives a really soft glow, but the glow is almost like a sort of glow from within, even though it's purple. So I find that effect just really intriguing. So this looks totally white in pan, but once you put it on the skin, that purple is really, really obvious. So I'm going to go off screen to finish off this look and be back with my overall thoughts about these products. So here we have the final look. I added a little bit more of that matte purple shade from Adept Cosmetics just to blend out the crease area. And then I went in with my Cosmetics brown brush liner to just finish off the eyes. For the lips, I actually took off my lipstick and went in with the Spirited Away Lisa Eldridge lipstick, since I wanted something just a little bit more cool toned. So overall, I am very pleased with this haul and the look that I created today. Now that I've had the foundation on for a couple hours, I would say that it's still looking and feeling great. For me, since I do have skin that's on the drier side, I care a lot about how foundations feel throughout the day, and most foundations do tend to dry out my skin as the day goes on. I'll have to do further wear tests to give a full verdict about this foundation, but so far so good. It's looking great. It blended in seamlessly with all of the products. To just quickly run through the other products, so far I'm loving the Kosas brow pencil. The M Cosmetics Clear Brow Gel is just okay for me right now. It feels fine, it's totally comfortable, there's no flaking or anything, but I just don't know that it's really having much, if any, effect on my brows. So there's nothing bad about it, but also nothing good. The LYS bronzer and powder are looking great so far. The powder has not felt drying at all, which is really great because that's usually the problem I have with powders. It isn't as blurring though as some of my other powders. The bronzer was extremely easy to put on and blended out so seamlessly. I do think the medium shade was a little bit deep for my current complexion, but I was still able to make it work, and I think come summer it'll be a perfect shade for me. For the M Cosmetics So Soft Sticks, I would say they've given me a pretty good first impression for cream products, given that I typically hate cream products the moment I try them. These I do not hate so far. They seem pretty good. That said, they're not necessarily blowing me away, so I'm gonna have to keep playing around with these and further formulate my thoughts about them. The same applies for the Kosas Powder, Blush, and Highlight. The blush seemed pretty decent, but I wasn't a huge fan of the highlighter. It just didn't give a ton of shine, so I'm gonna have to play around with it more to see if I really like it for an everyday basis. The Pat McGrath Artistry wand did a great job today, especially on the lids. I got zero fallout, which was really impressive given how glittery this shade was. And finally, for me, definitely the star of today's look was these Clionadh shadows. And so far, I am incredibly impressed with the shades that I tried. I'll have to do a separate video for you guys where I swatch all of them and play around with more of the shades. But so far, they're just so beautiful, so multidimensional, so easy to use to create just such a gorgeous, complex look. So I am super excited to continue exploring Clionadh as a brand. So that's it for today's video. If you guys like this video, then please give it a thumbs up. And if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel. I would love to hear in the comments down below if you guys have picked up any great items during the Black Friday sales. I think the brands really pulled out all of the stops this year. So hopefully you guys were able to score some good deals. Thank you all so much for joining me today, and I'll catch you next time. Bye!